This is another episode of the Flight Ringers podcast. I'm David King. That's Dan Spottswood.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
We are professional cartoonists, and we are Legion of Superheroes experts.
What is it? February 8th, 2024. Yeah.
In the United States, there's huge cemeteries full of big old caskets full of nothing, rotten remains.
Yeah. After a couple generations, when they're sure all your heirs don't give a shit about you or are dead themselves, I think they pave over it and put new bodies above them.
They do something like that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe more than a couple generations, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is a newer thing or if it's been like this forever, but I think like getting your physical body buried in the ground has become more and more, but you have to be well off for that. I think most people, they just incinerate them.
Could be. I mean, I haven't really thought about it.
It's way cheaper, obviously.
That's definitely cheaper, yeah. Yeah, I kind of remember like you used to hear about people how they'd have to go and they'd pick out their plot or whatever, and like you're paying on it for your adult life or something.
So fucking dumb. It's really fucking dumb.
It's really weird. Yeah, like that body's not coming back to life. It's no good.
No.
Even if it wasn't treated with formaldehyde and shit and wax, and it's not coming back. It's no good no more. You're dead. But yes, for some reason, people think they should preserve their dead body in fucking caskets. Outrageous. Yeah.
Those fuckers are heavy too. You ever had to be a pallbearer?
No.
Really? You live a charmed life, I guess. Yeah, they're heavy as fuck.
No, I never had to do it. Yeah, it seems like they'd be really fucking heavy.
Even with like
every
4 or 5 other dudes, it's still pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah, every funeral I ever went to, it was like old dudes from church doing it. I'm like, these old broke down guys are carrying this heavy box, but they do it.
Yeah. I hate that open casket shit. Just hate it.
Yeah.
Like, it's disturbing. I guess maybe it gives some people closure, I guess, but like maybe they're in denial that the person's dead or something, and seeing is believing, I guess, but it's not. They never look like themselves. It's like this disturbing, really like wax dummy version of like your grandpa or something. It's pretty unsettling.
Yeah, but never gonna do me like that. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah,
I think I'd like to be composted, but I guess that's weird and hard to do.
Put you in the green bin.
Well, I think they have something like they like have like these huge like silos that they just throw bodies in and let them decompose, and then they I don't know, scatter it.
Haven't heard of that, but I haven't thought about it. Have you looked into stuff like that?
Not actively. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I think about dying a lot, but well, that's the other thing about the whole burying thing is like, why would, if you're pumped with all this shit, you can't be recycled.
Yeah, and you probably don't even decompose quite right either.
Right, like, exactly. Like,
yeah, that's what you were saying, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, probably the closest thing to some kind of like spiritual afterlife or something, I believe in it, I guess, is that you become part of you're reintroduced into the ecosystem. And that really can't happen if you're inside this metal box and you're full of formaldehyde. And
right. Yeah, and your metal box has like a plastic body car wrap with like KISS logo or some shit on it.
yeah, that's awesome.
Actually, now that you could do that, I would get like the Adventure Comics 247 casket.
I'd make mine look like Superboy's. Didn't he have a casket at the end?
Oh yeah. His was like Mr. Spock's kind of. Real
it was some kind of like Star Trek 2 thing.
Yeah,
I don't remember. They should have done something like that. Actually, that would have been really smart. They have like Mon-El throw him into the sun or something. Because then there's always like room for him to come back, sort of.
Oh, right.
Did you ever read like All-Star Superman or DC 1 Million, that Grant Morrison big crossover thing in the late 90s?
No, I mean, I read the Legion crossovers and whatever titles I was reading, the crossovers. I don't think I read the whole.
Well, they sort of tie together because at the end of All-Star Superman, he ends up kind of going into the sun to die or whatever. But then in DC 1 Million in the far future, There's like his descendant or something is a Superman, but then Superman is now like Superman Prime, and he lives inside the sun, like he'd been like gestating or something like that for 1,000,000 years, and he comes out and he's all gold and
wow,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you're into comic books,
if you're into that kind of thing. Grant Morrison, man, I bet he would do an awesome Legion.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Guy has good ideas.
I mean, I haven't read a ton of his comics. Maybe I haven't ever read any of them, but
oh man,
he must be good. I've heard nothing but good things.
I haven't really read anything by him in like 20 years, but I was real into Doom Patrol when that was coming out. And I was really surprised when he actually started doing like mainstream comics, but he went kind of the other direction, definitely in the Silver Age direction, kind of like Alan Moore did in Supreme, like really big ideas, I guess.
Yeah, he did a lot of Justice League, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 5 years of Justice League or something.
Yeah, I thought it was. Did you not like it? I thought it was great.
No, I mean, I read one issue of it, and for some reason I didn't stay with it. I think I was just Justice Leagued out or something.
Right. Well, anything was going to look good after that, like 3 or 4 years of like Dan Jurgens and Extreme Justice and all that shit they were pumping out.
Yeah, I think when Grant Morrison started doing superhero stuff, I was too far gone already. I wasn't going to go start reading that stuff.
Yeah. I think the neatest thing he did, and it's kind of played out at this point, but he wanted to bring like all the original guys back, but it never made sense to have Batman on the team, you know, but he figured out, I'll just make him like super smart. Like he can kind of like outsmart the most powerful adversary, I guess. So he ended up sort of writing him as the most powerful member of the team. And I don't think he'd ever really been written that way before, but I think everybody writes him like that now.
Why would it have not made sense for Batman to be back on the JLA?
Because the way they were doing it, they were bringing all the 7 guys back, and they've all, at this point, they were all very powerful characters. Like he was he has no powers, obviously. And he makes sense in like street level stories, like the way they were depicting him, but having him among all these gods seems silly. But Grant Morrison quickly wrote it in such a way that they were fighting white Martians in it, and he was the one who figured out they were all Martians, and he took out like most of them by himself. I don't know. They wrote it in such a way like you're like, that's why he can stand side by side with Superman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern. Like he's smarter than everybody else.
Makes sense. I'd read them. I don't know if I'll ever get around to reading them or all of that shit. Well, I should read that Superman thing for sure.
Yeah, that's really good. My son loves that.
Isn't that like a mature reader type of comic book?
I don't think. Well, maybe technically.
He's going to die in it.
Yeah, he does die, but there's sort of this, like I said, like maybe he'll come back ending to it. Like maybe he's alive inside the sun. It isn't all bleak.
Didn't the DC 1,000,000 come out before the Superman, All-Star Superman?
Yes. Yes. So he had it in mind, I think, the whole time.
Yeah, weird. Guy's always thinking.
You know what I haven't read by him that everyone tells me is great is that X-Men run he did with Quietly.
Oh, yeah. That's supposed to be good, too. Mm-hmm. And that's also a lot of issues. I'm never going to get around to reading all this shit.
Right.
Like, if I still haven't read Watchmen and Arkham Asylum, I don't know when I'm going to get around to, like, fucking Ecstatics or whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, Watchmen's kind of a heavy lift because it's so dense. I mean, you could just read it once and don't bother rereading and trying to pick up all the subtext, I guess.
That's how I read everything.
Yeah.
That's how I read I read a fucking Dan Clowes comic the same way I read Comics 380 or whatever.
Right.
I am on the idiot level of reading comic books.
I don't know if I've ever reread a Dan Clowes comic. Maybe.
I think I've read Ice Haven more than once. Probably David Boring more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, most things I haven't actually. I don't usually read things more than one time.
Right. I'll go back through them, but I don't like read it word for word.
Yeah.
Unless I just don't remember any of it at all.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't think there must be people who do that. They just as a kid, I suppose I read things more than one time just because I didn't have anything else. But
oh yeah, for sure.
I never find myself like I gotta read this again. It was so great. But people do that. Like they go see movies 3 times and shit.
See, I did that a lot when I was younger. I don't know if I just feel like I have less time or I'm more inconvenienced. Or my son and wife were just watching, what is it? The second of those new Star Wars movies. The one everyone hated, I guess.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember any of it. I was watching. I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I'd only seen it the one time. And I thought those movies were great. But even then, I wasn't like in a hurry to watch them. But there used to be almost like a cycle. Like you'd see a movie, or this is me, maybe it was never you. Like you'd see it in the theater, you'd really love it. Maybe you'd see it twice in the theater. But at the very least, you'd be like excited when it came out on video or onto HBO or something. And you'd have to watch it at least once that way. And now I never bother with that shit. I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah.
It feels to me like I just saw it like last week, even if it was 6 months ago, you know? Whereas when I was a kid, maybe it felt like a lifetime had gone by from the theater to video.
Right, that 6 or 8 months or whatever. Right. I kind of feel like for me, I think at this stage in life, like if I see the movie one time, I got it all, you know?
Oh,
like
you're that smart. You got it. You took it all in.
Well, it's not that I'm that smart. It's that it's a movie.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's like there's not a lot of like hidden meaning in that movie.
Right.
Because most movies aren't that smart. And I don't know. Like I don't go see the real smart ones because they're too smart and too hard to watch.
They don't put those in theaters anyway.
Yeah. Well, around here they do, but I don't ever go see them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty predictable these days too.
Yeah, and I can assume that they've probably always been that way. Like for a middle-aged dude, like throughout the ages, like, yeah, all right, I'm just gonna go to work tomorrow, you know, like whatever. I don't need to see this twice. Don't need to see Disney's Aladdin twice or anything
right.
like that.
I don't know. There's some. You said you never saw Big Lebowski, right?
I did see it.
Oh, you did see it? I feel like every time I'd watch it, it'd get funnier, at least for a little while. Like there would be little things that I missed, maybe the first time.
I take it back. There's some movies that I've watched multiple times, but they're very few.
9.5.
9.5?
Is that
9.5 weeks?
Or is it 8.5? It's 8.5. I'm sorry.
8.5 is the famous art movie.
I'm thinking, 9.5 weeks. And then there was like some play sequel or something called 9, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. What does the 8.5 even mean?
Was it like the amount of time he had to finish the film or something?
I don't know.
I don't remember a lot about it. They're building a big rocket ship, but a staged rocket ship. Like he's a director.
Yeah. I saw it. I was bored stiff by it the time I saw it. I mean, I was probably 19 or something. Maybe it's great. I don't know. I haven't tried to watch it in the intervening years.
Yeah, I don't know if it holds up. I don't know how well it holds up as a story. I just think it looks really neat. Like the fashion, the photography, everything looks really cool. But he's got the black rim glasses and
it's who's
Fellini?
Yeah, but Fellini's not the actor in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's
the actor is playing
Marcello Mastroianni or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's the Woody Allen, a thinly veiled version of him, of Fellini, probably with hotter chicks chasing after him.
Some hot chicks in those Fellini movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't that Anita Ekberg and that, or one of them?
I don't know them by name, but the girls they're. If I remember right, there's a few like beautiful girls in black rim glasses, and
the librarian type.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do it now. You ready?
We're going to start right now.
We're warmed up.
Superboy and the Legion 240. Did you read this one?
Yes, I read it. At some point.
not today. I read it today.
I read it today. This came out on March 20th, 1978. And this might be Levitz's first regular issue. Like maybe he's done some before.
Yeah, he's definitely done ones before.
Something in the letter column said like this is like the new regular team. Maybe he was already regularly there, and they're referring more to. Well, they're not. They can't be because Chaykin is a fill-in. I think they announced that Levitz and Staten are going to be the new regular team going forward.
Yeah, this is kind of a crappy time for their creative resources here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like editorially, like I don't care. I think as far as staffing, I think maybe they're having some difficulty because This is a fill-in artist. The previous issue was a Starlin fill-in issue. The issue previous to that is a reprint, and the issue previous to that is the Walt Simonson one.
Right.
And I was looking around, Walt Simonson, Chaykin, Starlin, those guys all worked in the same studio, so like they're getting each other jobs, I think.
Right.
And then the writing staff kind of has like Levitz, Conway, Jack C. Harris, maybe Carrie Bates is still in the mix, or Shooter's still in the mix. I don't know, but they're kind of doing this round robin thing. Maybe Alan Kupperberg or somebody is writing some of this stuff.
Kupperberg does chip in here and there. I think it's mainly Levitz and Conway. Like it almost seems like they're alternating at times.
Yeah, but never a cohesive or continued. No continuity in the creative team, really.
Right. Like after
a long period.
Grell left, seemed like maybe Sherman was maybe they wanted him to be the regular guy, but they realized he can't keep up with the monthly book.
Yeah, a lot of them were Sherman with different inkers, and then Mike Nasser was doing some backup stuff. Yeah, but evidently next issue they got the real thing. This issue we're not so lucky. It's what is it? It was like a Levitz plot, Harris dialogue, Chaykin art. Who's the inker?
Wiacek.
Yeah.
For the first story.
And I looked it up on comics.org for some reason, and I saw, wait, which one's the artist? Is it Alan Kupperberg or Paul Kupperberg? One guy's a writer, one guy is an artist.
Paul must be the writer.
I guess so, yeah. Paul Kupperberg's the writer. Alan Kupperberg's the artist. This dude was Chaykin's assistant, and he, in one of these like issues of Back Issue magazine, he claimed that he did the layouts for this issue, and he did the layouts for the World of Krypton miniseries that Chaykin drew. And so Chaykin barely did this, because this even says Chaykin layouts. So Kupperberg thumbnailed it out. Chaykin did sort of pencils, and then Wiacek finished up the artwork.
Well, that's kind of weird, especially since I think the other Kupperberg is on the second story in here, right?
I think so. He's in here somewhere. Yeah, like he wrote it or dialogued it or something.
Yeah,
it's kind of I think it's kind of a small world behind the scenes for this comic, or this editor Milgram. I guess maybe he's calling in different buddies from the
right.
Well,
like you were saying, a lot of those guys were in a studio together. And they were probably just jamming on these.
Yeah. I think Jim Sherman might have even been in the same studio with those guys. I'm not sure.
I'm behind again, guys.
Right. Yeah. It's like, hey, Simonson, you want a job?
Yeah.
I think I can hook you up, because I'm not going to finish this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this one is about Grimbor. This is Grimbor's second appearance.
Grimbor, the Chainsman.
And he's the greatest chainsman in the galaxy or something.
That's right.
He says.
They should do a story about the second greatest chainsman in the universe.
Yeah, I don't know how
Maybe
many.
They have a rivalry.
I don't think he has a rivalry, because he's so confident. He knows he is the greatest chainsman in the universe, because I guess there's probably not any other chainsman.
Such a weird dude.
Super weird dude. He's on the first page. He has he's got a real nice drawing with he's even like pasted up the Legion logo. On this drawing of the manacles that he's created to lock up Superboy prior to his death. He's going to lock him up and then somehow kill him. But he also has to, he's like, it won't do me any good if I can't also lock up all the rest of the Legion of Superheroes members.
It's like one of his fantasies, having Superboy chained up.
Yeah.
There's always like this weird, I don't know if it's accidental or they're just having a joke that they don't think the kids are going to get, but there's this weird, like, kind of sex joke thing about this whole character. I feel that runs through his entire existence. Like, he's like this sort of S&M-ish quality to him.
Right. And like his previous appearance, he's got this, and they talk about her here, this character Charma, who's his lover.
His dominatrix.
Yeah, she has this power to control men.
Mm-hmm.
And they reveal in this issue that same power works in inverse proportion with women. They hate her.
Right. Kind of feels a little like there's some weird sexist thing going on with it. Like the pretty girl that I'm friends with that all the girls hate because they're competing for my affections. Or
me? That never happened to me.
No.
I was thinking about it, and it's kind of like she chooses this like bondage guy to have a relationship with. So she's into it too. She's like, now I want you to tie me up, but I don't know. She couldn't really be getting off on it because he'll stop whenever she says so. There's no threat there. There's no excitement of being tied up because all she has to do is be like, all right, untie me now. And he won't be like, I'm going to tease you some more. That's not going to happen. He'll be like, okay, we're done.
Right.
Kind of a crazy relationship. And sex is stupid.
Right. Well, and it's surely a stereotype, possibly with a little truth. I remember like the prettiest girl at somewhere I'd be working. All the dudes would be following her around. And all the girls there would hate this girl because she was getting all the attention. And it feels like they've extrapolated from that. Like turned it into Powers. All the dudes are chasing her. All the chicks hate her. No,
yeah. I'm just trying to think of like what type of the personality of the person who creates this character. Like where's their head at that they think this is? I mean, it's kind of an okay idea. It's fine, but it just seems like it's such a like you're a total dork that you decided to do this. You know, like
I'm trying to remember his relationship with her. Like, is she in love with him, or is he just like a tool? Like he's useful to her, but
I don't remember either. I mean, I'm sure Paul wanted us to have that ambiguity of like maybe this beautiful girl who Grimbor is going out with. He can never be sure if she actually loves him or if she's just using him to chain up people for her.
Right.
Something. I don't know. And chain her up.
Right. Right now he wants to chain up Superboy.
Yeah. No, he sounds like great, like professional level illustration of that. It's in color. And then he crumples it all up.
Dang. He's got that very slapsticky expression in the middle there. Looks like he just got conked on the head.
Oh, yeah. He's
throwing the paper. Yeah,
he's crumpling up and throwing it, but the paper's in the wrong place. It's like when you goof and throw something where you let it go too soon, you know, to psych somebody out or something, you know?
And his facial expression is like he just got hit in the head.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck? He's intense. I think the faces in this are a real weak point. I don't think Chaykin did a very good job. I'm not too into the art job on this.
Well, I don't know. It's inconsistent. There are a few, overall, I'd say, yeah. But every now and then there's a panel that I'll really like, even if it's not correct, I guess. I'll point them out as we get to them.
Yeah. I was trying to think of what Chaykin was famous for prior to this.
Prior to this?
Yeah, like...
No, nothing, I don't think.
Not at all, right? Like he had done a couple issues of Batman or something, it seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, I know Legion ends up being one of the more popular titles for a little while, but at this point, certainly, I feel like if you're on this book and you're doing fairly good, someone's poaching you to go, Mike Grell, come do this Green Lantern with me.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this book anymore. So if you're filling in at this point, I think nobody knows who you are.
Okay.
Certainly Simonson, who's contemporary with him, he hadn't made a name for himself yet.
I think I saw that Chaykin's first published comics were in 1972. This is a 1978 comic book. So he's kind of been in the game for a little bit.
Yeah. I just think a lot of those guys of that generation in that crew didn't really make a name for themselves until like the early 80s.
Okay, so back to the Legionnaires. They're helping with a bridge collapse.
Right. We have another weird... This is a common problem in this book, I feel like. It's supposed to be the future, but everything looks very contemporary here. You got cars driving on a bridge. That boat doesn't look particularly futuristic.
Yeah, like the bridge full of 7 lanes of traffic or whatever.
Non-flying cars.
I guess what puts it over is that it supposedly goes all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, I think. But yeah, it does just look like a photo of San Francisco or something. One thing I wanted to talk about to make this extra boring, they point out that there's an algae freighter.
Oh.
And I'm like, you know what? There was something big with this algae shit back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And I started looking it up, and I think algae was going to be the future of fuel. And I think they still talk about it now sometimes, about how you can get biodiesel fuel or whatever out of algae. And then they were having the energy crisis back then in the late 70s. And so I think it must have been in the news that 50 years from now, 100 years from now, we're going to be using algae to drive our cars with. And also we're going to be using it, we're going to eating it and whatever. It has all these nutrients and shit that we can have a superfood made out of algae. It's like this miracle product. It's just the slime in the water, but you can grow it on farms and turn it into fuel.
Yeah, and there's still some of that out there. People drink it in their smoothies. And
yeah. Like I saw spirulina, like is an algae.
Spirulina, exactly. Yeah. Blue-green algae.
Oh yeah, super blue-green algae. That's a total like 70s protein shake thing.
I feel whenever I hear about algae now in the news, it's some kind of ecological disaster, though.
Yeah, and that was back in the 70s too. Like that's when I first started doing my very cursory internet searches, like type in algae 1970s or whatever. Yeah, they were having bad algae bloom problems because of pollution and stuff.
Right.
In I can't remember where, Great Lakes or something like that. Mm-hmm. But then it's a blessing and a curse, I guess. You can make fuel out of this shit. But yeah, we have bad algae blooms even today in this future of 2024. Yeah. We haven't solved these problems yet. But the Legionnaires, they're doing it. They're probably simultaneously eating the algae that's on that freighter and using it to power their hover cars or Legion cruisers. They're not using nuclear fission or anything like that. It's algae gas.
You would think they'd want chlorophyll kit on the team. Be quite an asset to them.
Yeah, he can make all their gasoline.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you would think the chlorophyll kit would get a good job somewhere. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't even need the Legion. He'd be a billionaire converting algae, eliminating algae blooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, or he could be a pretty formidable supervillain. Control the algae that's covering the planet. I guess they've already explored rejects going bad.
Constantly, kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just sort of a whatever 70s hot reference that Paul stuck in there. Paul Levitz.
But it's backwards, right? Am I crazy? Like the first time they show up, isn't the highway like in space or in the sky?
The first time who shows up?
The Legion. Like when he first goes to the future, like aren't all the autos flying? And
yeah. Yeah, I don't think they use bridges really. They use little flying cars.
I guess maybe it's like a Back to the Future 2 kind of Earth where maybe the wheels turn and they drive on the road sometime. I guess.
I suppose, but what do you need to? Yeah, we know that they all have their own little flying cars. You don't need to go on a bridge. Yeah, kind of a goof, kind of an oversight. I mean, you would think that superfan Paul Levitz would know that they don't need a bridge.
Right.
I could give Al Milgrom the benefit of the doubt since he's only been the editor for a couple issues or something. Mm-hmm. But these dudes who have read every comic book because they're nerds and women hate them.
Maybe it was after Chaykin turned in page 2 that Milgrom told him, we're actually in the future. These characters are in the future.
That's probably right.
Yeah, and they catch this kid here. He looks like, except for these weird leg warmers, he looks pretty contemporary there.
I don't think I even read this page. Oh, well.
You're missing out.
No, I read the next couple of pages when this dude shows up from the Earth Emergency Service.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks just like every Howard Chaykin character. Like, Howard Chaykin drew this part because I wrote down Scorpion, Cody Starbuck, Dominic Fortune. Like, they all have this little flap thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
There must be a name for that kind of costume. Like even Black Hawk kind of has it where it's like most of the time you like when you're in your biplane, you pull this thing and it buttons down one side. And when you're trying to be casual, you undo the top one and it pops out into a big collar. Chaykin loves that costume.
Every single character he does is kind of that squinty eyed. I guess it's sort of like Golden Age Superman. Black hair.
Yeah.
From the neck up, at least, they're all this. It's like the same actor in every every comic he does. Power and Glory.
Even these guys, Dominic Fortune and Scorpion, like they're the same guy, same design. Like he got whatever Atlas went under, who was Scorpion, so he's presented it to Marvel and changed the name. Same thing.
You think one of the editors would recommend giving one of them red hair or something?
But this is a new character. I don't think we ever saw him again. His name is Zal Morgan, and he looks like a rip-roaring, manly man, adventurer.
Guy. And he's also, you can tell, like, this is his guy. The guy we're talking about, the actor he basically casts in everything he does, because the drawing looks far more accomplished on that figure than all the other figures. Like, this is a well-practiced character.
Right, yeah. Even Superboy does not look as figured out as this one dude. He's more important looking than he really needs to be in this comic, because
from his very first appearance, right when he beams down, you're like, is this a bad guy? Is this guy going to attack them or something? But he's just a repair guy, but he has this very, like, heroic stance. He shows up.
Well, it's almost like I don't know, they wanted him to be an important secondary character or something, because Cosmic Boy's like, there's Zal Morgan, he's here to help us, he's part of the Earth Emergency Service. And after this, we never hear about an Earth Emergency Service anymore. We just have Science Police and stuff. Zal Morgan, I don't know, like, I guess I'd bring it back if I was writing this comic book, because
maybe he was pitching like a spinoff.
Could be.
This traffic guy, this road engineer or whatever he is.
But yeah, so the Legionnaires leave this dude to fix the bridge, and they fly back to headquarters. And Cosmic Boy has this heart-to-heart with Superboy about how much he misses Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl, that because they left, now that they're married, they can't be in the Legion.
It's understandable. It's kind of a bummer. It's like when, if you've ever worked somewhere long enough that all the people that were there when you started have left, and you're like, should I be getting another job? Have I been here too long?
It is like that, but Cosmic Boy's main concern, it sounds like, is that
can't get married.
Yeah, he can't get married to a Night Girl like he might want to someday.
Right.
And he's like, they're never going to get me off the Legion.
I feel like Levitz kind of used that for a while, right? Like maybe in the 80s, that was still some kind of conflict with him.
Oh, really?
Like he's married to the Legion.
Yeah, the way he puts it, if I were Night Girl, I might be kind of offended by this attitude. Like we would be married, except this dude thinks his job is more important than me. Dumpsville, I don't think I would stick with that guy.
I do like the idea that they sort of insert later that by 5 years later time anyway, there was probably a lot of secret marriages going on. Kind of like pop stars, like it was bad for them to be presented as paired off. They did better single, so they'd be quietly married to people.
Oh, right. Yeah. And like young movie stars and stuff in the old days. And they'd be secret. Yeah, secretly married.
Yeah.
Anyway, Superboy's troubled by this conversation that he's had with Cosmic Boy, thinking that Cosmic Boy is so wrapped up in his own thoughts that it's going to be a detriment to the team. Somebody might get hurt. That's the end of it. It doesn't pan out. It doesn't really amount to anything in this story. But what happens, or what they do next, is they talk about this issue between Phantom Girl and Colossal Boy. I guess Colossal Boy pissed her off because he wanted to, in the last issue, when Ultra Boy was accused of murdering Anne Ride, Colossal Boy was against Ultra Boy, wanted to throw his ass in jail.
It's a Law and Order cop through and through.
Yeah, exactly. And so naturally, Phantom Girl is pissed at him, and I think maybe the whole team ought to be pissed at him just on principle that he's not going to stick by his own teammate. I mean, like if Ultra Boy definitely had committed this murder, yeah, sure, lock him up, throw away the key, he's in trouble. But they didn't know. All points looked like he had done something wrong, maybe. But nothing was settled yet. And so Colossal Boy is going to shoot first and ask questions later.
Right.
Phantom Girl's like, that's my boyfriend, you piece of shit.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted by how wrong the panel of Colossal Boy and Sun Boy walking down the corridor is. Like, it's fine when you're reading it quickly, but since we're sitting on this page, I'm just looking at Sun Boy and I'm like, what is he standing on?
He's standing on the word balloon.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I think he's excited about the reward that he thinks they can collect.
You think Chaykin, like, he didn't want his foot cut off or something, so he redrew it so it would fit outside of the balloon. It kind of looks like that foot that's up in the air is standing like 10 feet back on the floor. Like both of his feet are touching the floor.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think he's just excited.
Yeah.
But then button down, Colossal Boy's like, we can't collect a reward. Legionnaires don't collect rewards. And Sunboy's like, no, man, I'm rich. More money.
Yeah.
But Colossal Boy says that Phantom Girl's ticked off at him, TO'd. And she shares her, they spell it wrong. They spell it Biz Tiggle in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
But she's gotten some goodies from Biz Tiggle, and she's going to share it with these boys. Share her goodies with them.
It'd be funny if it was all like immaterial stuff. So she gives some to Colossal Boy, and he tries to drink it, and just goes right through him.
Oh yeah. Or the glass turns immaterial, and he spills it all over his lap.
Yep. Hot coffee in his lap.
More than he deserves, or you know what I mean.
Yes.
Is Phantom Girl the leader in this issue?
Who?
Phantom Girl.
It's unclear. There's a few places where it feels like Superboy is in charge, like he's telling people what to do. But I think that's sort of a default with a lot of the stories when it's not clear, because he's sort of the central character a lot of the time.
Phantom Girl really takes charge in this one.
Yeah. She has. She kind of saves the day in a way that is unusual up to this point for the girl of the team to get to be the member that the villain underestimates, and
Well, and the boys seem really dumb in a way. Like Cosmic Boy's there, who's supposed to be the greatest leader in history.
Yeah,
he just seems like kind of a dope.
I will say that's kind of a retcon. I mean, I feel like that developed more in the 80s, and they said early on he was a great leader from the get-go, but I don't think he was really written that way for the first 20 or so years.
He seems dumber than really he ought to in this issue, or less of, maybe dumb's the wrong word, just not too with it.
He's preoccupied, man.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I guess that's probably why they mentioned that, huh? Like, I'm supposed to notice that he's just totally not going to do anything because he's preoccupied with missing his homies.
My homies Punana. Homies Punana.
Bros before hoes. That's what they say. But what if you don't got no bros no more?
I don't know.
I think actually Cosmic Boy really struggled with this for the whole rest of his career, didn't he?
Every man has to make this choice. It's either your friends or your girl. You can't have both.
No, yeah.
You can't.
You have to, or she'll dump you.
Yeah.
The Legion is going to call over to the presidential palace. I don't know. It's not the White House. It's wherever the president of Earth lives and works.
Yeah, he's very, it's like monarchical. He seems more like a king in this story than a president. He and like a middle-aged king at that. Like he looks like a wizard. He looks like he lives in a castle. He doesn't seem like he's not wearing a suit.
Right. And he doesn't seem like he was doing anything, and he barks orders at people.
Right.
But he's the president. The Legionnaires find that he's been trapped they just deduce that Grimbor has trapped him.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get him out of the trap.
Yeah, very ham-fistedly too. I mean, they don't know if this thing is booby-trapped or whatever. Superboy doesn't know if there's a bomb inside it or whatever. He's like, tell me about it later. First, I'm going to hit it really, really hard. Yeah, hopefully he won't die in the process.
Sunboy tries to heat it up.
Heats it up.
It's not going to work. But then the characters with the least invasive kind of powers, they go last.
Right.
Where she puts her immaterial arm in there and finds that she can't do it. Like, they could have had Phantom Girl start and not risk killing the president in an explosion.
Right. This is one of those panels I really like. And it's probably like his eyes are too close together and stuff, but it's
which one? The
aesthetically
second
pleasing
panel?
to me. Yeah.
The close-up?
Yeah.
I like it too. I like the dark eyelids or I guess it's a shadow or something.
Yeah. Looks a little Barry Windsor Smithish.
Mm-hmm. And that must be That's like a Wiacek thing, I think, probably. Real brushy. Grimbor shows up.
Yeah, and like some kind of inflatable raft.
Yeah, he has a raft and he crashes.
You really should have like some sort of motorcycle shaped like handcuffs or something. Or like the chain mobile.
Right, something that's like just 2 chain links with like steering wheel on it. Or something like whips side to side to break through the wall.
Right.
Yeah, the raft is not impressive. Sorry, Grimbor. Yeah, and it even looks like a jet ski control in the front.
Right. Yeah, and he's got the life jacket on and his swimsuit. Yeah.
But he's going to be weighted down with chains. He shouldn't be out on the water.
Right. I should have mentioned this earlier. Even when probably the best looking update of that character was in the cartoon. And even there, he still has an S&M thing because it's kind of a gimp mask that he's wearing.
It's the same as here, only with a mask, a full face mask.
Right.
Surely he doesn't have like the zipper on the mouth, though, right?
I don't think so. They don't need zippers in the 30th century.
It's probably Velcro.
Right.
Anyway, Grimbor throws these special chains at the Legionnaires. There's a Kryptonite one for a Superboy, and there's an anti-growth one for Colossal Boy, and there's an anti-phantom one for a Phantom Girl.
I think it's anti-growth. It sort of makes sense. It's if he tries to grow in it, he's just gonna like get smashed.
Yeah, it won't break. But he's got them all. He's got them all dead to rights.
I'm not sure how Sunboy's works. Maybe it's asbestos.
It absorbs his heat and channels it away from his body.
In the Silver Age, in the Fantastic Four, like every villain, there'd always be some situation with asbestos, like stopping the Human Torch. Probably why he ended up with cancer.
Did he get cancer?
No.
Oh.
We would think so on that asbestos.
Grimbor traps him and takes him back to his, what do they call it? His citadel. He's got a citadel, Grimbor.
His dungeon.
It's a dungeon. I mean, they look like they're in a dungeon. It's got a stone wall. It's got suits of armor.
What are all these cameras for, Grimbor? Live streaming? OnlyFans? The whole thing, it's a little weird. Like, the president is, if it's anything like the present day, he's probably the most guarded, secure person on planet Earth. So, but it's just a distraction for Grimbor to get the Legion out of their headquarters, which he doesn't think he can get into. This master.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny too. Like, yeah, it's easier to set up a death trap in the presidential palace. It's not like he even broke in or smashed through the window to kill the president. And like this is some gear that he had to get into the president's place,
right?
To lock him up. When the president just woke up there, like he drugged the president, put him in this gizmo, and then left, and then came crashing through on his raft later.
Right.
All that was easier than trying to break into Legion headquarters.
Unpopular president, maybe. Maybe the president's just a figurehead.
He's probably answerable to a council or the United Planets. Yeah, the prime minister has all the power, right?
Yeah, not doing too good in the security department, that's for sure.
And a guy who has such a dictatorial kind of attitude, you would think he would be like, protect me more, or he would have that in place.
Unless, of course, they're all forgetting to guard him because he's such a dick.
This page 12, it looks like somebody else drew it.
Yeah,
the Superboy face and Grimbor in the top 2 panels look totally different.
It all looks really different. The middle panel looks like Starlin. The top right panel reminds me of Gil Kane. That face, the lines on the face.
Yeah. This 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth panel. That everything looks different. That doesn't look like the same artist.
Yeah, he's probably behind. He needed some help in the studio, probably with these.
Even the inking looks different. Like whoever drew this at the the guy who has the table right beside Chaykin, he penciled and inked it or something.
Right.
Wiacek didn't get to touch it. But yeah, Grimbor is lapsing into his not his origin. He's just telling about how his girlfriend got killed in prison, in the women's prison.
Another strange writing choice. Somehow, like, none of the Legionnaires are aware of this. This villain they put into jail got killed in jail, and nobody notified them.
I kind of disagree with you on that. Like, why would they?
You don't think they'd hear about it?
I don't think they would give a fuck. I think they like Charma is not like Time Trapper or something. Like you throw the Time Trapper in jail. We want to keep up to date with this guy because he's a really big, powerful person. Charma can tell a dude to do something, he'll do it.
She's a supervillain, though. She's not just a regular crook.
I guess so. I just feel like the Legionnaires got better shit to do than keep tabs on these nobodies.
I bet Marla knew.
He was probably her pen pal.
Yeah, Phantom Girl's kind of a stone cold bitch about it all. She's like, you can tell like the hatred, like she hates her too. It's like it's her own fucking fault. She shouldn't have gone to jail if she didn't want to get killed.
Oh, yeah. She's just ending that conversation. I mean, she's right. Superboy's like, can you blame him for trying to kill us because his girlfriend got killed while she was in prison for being a criminal? Like, come on, Superboy, get real. Yeah, I can blame him for trying to kill me out of revenge. Mm-hmm. Phantom Girl's in the right here.
She's not deliberately making people hate her, I don't think.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know how the powers work. She can deliberately make men do her bidding.
But if her power can only make women hate her, she wouldn't use it on them.
That's true. Huh. So it's like pheromones.
I think they fucked up.
Like she should have been in therapy.
Or in solitary confinement or something. Like they should have made accommodations for her.
Yeah, that's true. That's for the courts to decide, however. That's not the Legionnaires' scope.
It's out of their jurisdiction.
Right. So maybe I was too hasty in agreeing with Phantom Girl. You shouldn't expect to die if you go to prison.
Right. Unless you're, what's his face? The guy hung himself.
Epstein.
Unless you're Epstein.
I bet he didn't even expect to die. Somebody murdered him.
Right.
Hillary Clinton. She made a phone call.
It's a bit vengeful of me, but I always get kind of pissed off when like some of these abuser types, like the really bad ones, like that gym coach, like off themselves before they go to jail. It's like, you got off easy, man.
Yeah, they took the coward's way out.
Yeah.
Grimbore's like, you pretended to be trapped. You played me for a fool.
You know what? This looks like Walt Simonson to me.
Which, page 13?
Like when she's freeing herself in particular, that looks very, very Walt Simonson to me. Of course, Chaykin always kind of looks a little Simonson-y. But
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Over on page 14, like the Superboy pose looks like a Joe Kubert kind of drawing or something. Mm-hmm. Grimbore looks a little different too. Yeah, this was a studio deadline mission, I think.
He has a very strange looking head there on the right. Like, it's like his head has been, like his face and the side of his head are on the same side. Like his ear.
Oh, yeah, his ear's in the wrong place.
It's kind of crazy looking.
Yeah, they're cranking this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
But once the Legionnaires escape, Grimbore's got a backup plan prepared for these guys. And his plan B is to send medieval knights, like robot knights at them, like Knights of the Round Table looking dudes. Mm-hmm. They're easily dispatched by the Legionnaires, but we still get about 3 or 4 pages of them fighting these knights while Grimbore runs away.
That's another one of those isolated panels I really like. Colossal Boy, like hunched over to fit into the panel, stomping or flattening the armor.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say
wonky, but
the next panel where Grimbore is running behind the curtain.
Oh,
it's kind of a funny panel.
It is funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be hard to use Colossal Boy in a comic because and in fact, in reality, if there was a giant, he would always be crouching down and doing like trying to interact with his little buddies and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then having to draw that physicality would be a pain in the ass. This looks pretty good where he's actually like active and he fits in the panel and he's crouching in a somewhat normal looking way.
Kirby did that a lot in the 60s with like Giant Man, and it just it was cool because it made him look bigger in a way, right? Always having him kind of squatted down.
Kirby was drawing Giant Man?
Mm-hmm. Giant Man / Goliath / Ant-Man.
Yeah. I got some reprint comic and it was Don Heck or somebody drawing that?
Yeah.
Drawing Avengers.
Well, with a lot of those things, like Kirby would start the title and then he'd get moved on to start another title and they'd put guys like Don Heck on them. Mm-hmm. Or he would do, he'd often still do the covers. It's kind of like, in some ways, like what Giffen ended up doing later. He'd like break down a lot of those pages and they'd have other guys finish them.
I don't know that I've ever looked at any of the Kirby Avengers comics.
Man, some of those are good.
Yeah. Turns out Grimbor is not a human. He's a robot. He was a robot the whole time.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. Trying to escape in his raft.
Why, if he was a robot, why did he try to escape? I guess he was leading them back to the presidential palace, maybe.
Well, he does explode, so obviously no problem for Superboy, but maybe the idea was maybe if one of the other, like Cosmic Boy or someone, was trying to stop him, he could explode and kill a few of them, like he's a bomb.
Right. I guess so. I was thinking it was part of his plan to lure them somewhere, but could have been anything. They could have stopped him. He could have blown himself up, and it wouldn't matter. Mm-hmm. They decided to go back and free the president now that Grimbor's robot is gone.
Yeah, I guess we should go let the president go. That's right, because the president like made him go after them or something, right?
No, Grimbor chained them and took them away and left the president.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think probably the president was concerned about it, but he wanted to be freed instead of imprisoned, even though presidents really ought to be in chains.
Indeed. Look at that Sun Boy. That's someone else, right?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like Joe Staten.
Even the Sun Boy on the previous page, this guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know these artists well enough, but...
Well, it's the whole panel, too, because look at Cosmic Boy back there. They both look...
oh, yeah, that
cartoony. They look cartoonier. They look like...
Does look like Joe Staten. Yeah, I don't know who all these artists are.
It's a jam comic.
Earlier, they couldn't figure out how to get the president out of the gizmo. Mm-hmm. And then Superboy is like, I've been thinking about it. What if we all used all our powers at the same time to free the president? Mm-hmm. And then Sunboy uses his super intelligence.
Right.
As the Legionnaire, who's like the fourth smartest Legionnaire, he's like, wait a minute, this sounds like a trap to me.
I don't buy that fourth smartest Legionnaire business, but okay.
But so he hatches a plan.
Yeah, the whole thing's goofy because they don't even know if Superboy's idea is right. This is just an idea Superboy has. Like, maybe if we all use our powers together, we can get it loose. And Sunboy's going, don't you think it's a little odd that he would do that? You don't even know if that's what Grimbor's doing. That was just Superboy's guess.
Well, it's a educated hypothesis on the part of Superboy. Superboy literally has super intelligence, and he examined Grimbor's control board. I mean, it's a 30th century technology control board. I don't know why Superboy would really understand it. Mm-hmm. But also, I always think it's kind of dorky when they're like, let's use all our powers, pour it on. All our powers combined can stop this. I think that's dumb and lazy. And I guess I like the idea that this undermines that stupid notion that we can everybody shoot at it at the same time.
None of Superboy's senses hipped him to Grimbor being a robot.
I know.
It's a little weird. Plus, he's an expert on that. He can build robots, so you'd think...
Yeah, usually he hears like the clockworks of an android.
Right.
Duplicate. Yeah, it sounds like Superboy's kind of got his head up his ass. He shouldn't be... He's pot calling the kettle black with this Cosmic Boy stuff.
Legion of super dummies.
Yeah, but like Sunboy is right. He turns out to be right. Mm-hmm. The president is a trap. He's also a robot, right? Or do they save the president? I already forgot.
Weird. This whole thing is weird. He's like, you guys have to free me. And then he says, before like, as soon as they free me, put them under arrest. Like, why would they even free him then? I guess they're just law-abiding citizens.
It says that? That's true.
Well, they already suspect him to be an imposter, right? Or at least a bad dude. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, the president acts like an asshole, and then they leave him behind to get blown up.
Right.
That's a pretty good move. Good job, Legionnaires.
Yep.
An incredibly short time later, they're back somewhere with Grimbor, back at his citadel, where he's got the real president.
Right.
In a real version of the shackles.
It's a pretty cool panel. Like just
with the
giant fist coming through. Yeah. Giant arm.
Yeah. Looks like they traced a Christopher Reeve Superman drawing here in the third panel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the Cosmic Boy is really cool on the left. It's kind of bleached out from the light.
Oh yeah, and he's using his magnetic powers to destroy all of Grimbor's, or to destroy all the evidence that Grimbor committed a crime.
All the evidence, yeah.
And then Cosmic Boy gets a little joke at the end when they're trying to free the president. Cosmic Boy's like, I didn't like his politics. I'm not going to help him.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I would do. Like if I was in Washington, D.C., and of course, Colossal Boy is going to help.
He voted for him.
Yeah, totally.
Wanted him to make the United Planets great again.
That's the end. They catch Grimbor.
Ta-da.
This is not a real great period for Legion Comics, I don't think.
I mean, it's fine. I don't know. It's not great, but
yeah, it's
a serviceable one and done story.
I suppose. It just seems so simple and so dopey. Like, yeah, I don't know. It is. It's a children's comic book. It's fine. Yeah. It can't all be Grant Morrison, huh?
Yeah.
But I feel
Tom
like
and Mary Beerbaum.
Yeah, I mean, was the shit that it just seems so dorky now, but like the comics that I was reading that came out in like 10 or 15 years after this, were they better? Were they smarter? Or were they the same thing where it's like group of heroes and a bad guy and they punch him and they go to his headquarters and smash it?
Honestly, I don't think they were that different, except it's a little less apparent because Levitz learned to tell like 4 of these stories at once and just keep changing the scenes every other page. Yeah. Like keep bouncing between the storylines, and then maybe it feels like there's more there than there really is.
After having read tons of Levitz Legion comics, he never really gets any more sophisticated. It's just like you were just saying, it's like they're shuffled together instead of being distinct 8-pagers or whatever. But like I don't know, I was reading all those Giffen Justice League things when I was a kid. Like I feel like they were a little bit less predictable, and they were kind of a comedy in a way, but yeah, like just the adventure action stuff, I don't know, it seems like the plot was better. I can't really remember what else I was reading besides that stuff back in those days. Detective Comics, yeah, those are kind of one and done.
Wait, are we? So are we comparing this to? We're not comparing this to.
I'm trying to compare the comics that were coming out when I was a kid to the comic like this, and I was feeling like comics from the 80s and 90s are a little more sophisticated than this.
They are.
Yeah.
For sure.
But then also I'm saying that Paul Levitz never got too much more sophisticated than this. No. I was just reading some of the new 52 Paul Levitz Legion comics. I don't know if he really transcended it ever.
Well, I don't know. To me, it seems inarguable that he got better than this, at least. Like, this is still pretty early in his career. Like, maybe he peaked in the 80s and he never really got much better than that. But I think his writing in the 80s is better than this. But this is also kind of a weird issue. Like maybe he had to like sort of ride around this jam comic. Maybe the pages they expected didn't show up.
Yeah, that could be. And like there's Jack C. Harris dialogue, and that may be a consequence of somebody having to like literally rewrite the whole comic after the script was written,
right? And
so this guy in the editorial did it.
It definitely has that. I don't know if it ever went away, but it's very apparent in 60s and 70s comics where like it seems like Mort Weisinger or someone came around and go, you never explained how they got here or how that guy survived, so you need to add like a huge ass dialogue balloon here explaining.
Yeah, and you're saying that is not it doesn't exist in this comic.
There's lots of that in this.
Oh, it's all that. Okay,
there's tons of it, and but more than I'd even expect from this time, and it makes me feel like maybe he was expecting more of the storytelling to be in the art than there was. And they had to go back in and like describe more stuff for the story to make sense.
Right, because it kind of got done maybe Marvel method almost or something, and wasn't clear. Makes sense. Kind of a shaky comic, I think.
That's all right.
But they made a big deal about the relationship between Colossal Boy and Phantom Girl being a little rocky, and then Phantom Girl's gonna make amends, I guess, for treating.
It is weird and one-sided. Like she decides she needs to apologize to him. There's no like, oh, I fucked up. I was being a dick too. I shouldn't have killed that person or whatever. Like he doesn't meet her halfway at all. It's all on her shoulders to make it right.
Right. Yeah, he's worried that she's still mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to apologize, I guess. Maybe he did apologize. Maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe that was off screen or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like kind of get the vibe that he thinks he's in the right. He's not going to apologize. He's going to wait for her to cool down and expect things to go back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the writer has her actually say, "I'm going to apologize to him for being such an asshole."
Yeah. The story is a little too conventional, isn't it? It feels like they should have flipped the script maybe after Gimbor turned out to be a robot. Like, oh wait, he really was targeting the president all along.
Yeah, they could have killed the president in this one. I mean, they don't make it too clear even why Grimbor is after the Legionnaires, just other than hatred. They don't even say that he's out for revenge for the murder of his girlfriend. That doesn't even seem to play into it. He tells us that, but it's only because somebody's like, "What happened to your girlfriend? Wasn't she controlling you before?" And he's like, "Nah, she got killed." But he doesn't say, "She got killed and I'm going to get revenge on you."
Yeah, or like play with his insecurity, like, no, she really loved me. I really loved her. And they're like, how can you even be sure?
Yeah, it's still a very shaky comic.
Yeah.
They could have had some real consequences, but they just kind of a Scooby-Doo ending where they arrest him and there's a gag.
I wonder what they're doing with him now. Like, has he shown up in 10 years, 20 years?
Who, Grimbor?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because he just ended up showing up so many times, I kind of started liking him, and I just feel like somebody needs to figure out a way to make him cool.
I think
he's cool in a kitschy way now, I guess.
Yeah, I think Howard Chaykin made him cool.
He needs a pipe, so it looks like Bob Dobbs in
like he's got
domination gear.
He's got a smoking jacket with chains. He's wearing long pants with chains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like an old, I don't know, like a biker guy who's kind of aged out of being able to dress like that.
Yeah.
He would be wearing like a tracksuit or something, right?
Well, I think I'd dress him the same way, but just make him look like Fred McMurray from the neck up with a pipe in his mouth.
But would he be scrawny? Would he be like an old dude?
He
like
could still
saggy?
be buff. He could still be buff.
I mean, he's old in this, so he would definitely be old later on.
Yeah.
He came back though, right?
Yeah, he came back in 5 years later.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. He got a makeover. He looked good in that. He looked pretty cool. I think Chris Taylor was the person who made him look cool.
He looked less embarrassing, but I feel like it was too off brand.
Yeah.
Like
he had totally shed the B&D look.
Right, and it was a totally different color scheme. It just looked like it should have shared some commonality with his old look.
You know, when I was reading about him today online,
mm-hmm.
I saw like a Jeff Moy drawing of him from the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, so lame. Like he just looks like he's like got camouflage on or something.
Oh.
Not very many chains.
Not enough chains.
Like he doesn't look like a chainsman.
Right. And I think that was the problem with the 5 years later one too. Like he just had some kind of generic shock trooper feature guy costume.
I think he might have still had at least a chain belt or something, maybe.
He should have like guns that shoot chains.
I'm trying to think what could make him really like he has I'm thinking like a gun that shoots butt plugs.
Plug him.
And they're like, no, they put their hands over their butts.
Yeah, when they came to in his dungeon here, they should have been like naked or something.
Right?
What happened? Where's my costume?
Those little gator nipple clamps.
Yeah,
ow!
Yeah.
Oh, ouch!
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to have dialogue where he's like, "I love to see you suffer.
Mm-hmm.
I live for your pain."
Right.
Shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much for comic books, I think.
Crazy torture devices all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Erotic torture devices.
I feel like there are some villains that have been like that even this far back, though. Like maybe not overtly, but they seem to take joy in the suffering of others, at least. Like, I want to hear you scream and that kind of thing. Maybe it'd be too much for him to act that way and be dressed the way he is.
I guess so. He should. You know what he needs is high heels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he has you tied up, he steps on you.
Mm-hmm. A space motorcycle. He needs one of those like caps, like the policeman cap, like the Village People.
Oh, right, like a Tom of Finland kind of thing.
Maybe his lackeys look like the Village People.
I was thinking what are those, like when you see the biker movies, and there's always the one guy who's got like a World War I German helmet with a big thing that sticks out the middle of it. You know those ones?
Oh yeah.
That's what Grembor should wear.
Come on, DC, let us redesign him.
High heels
for the new
Nazi
new 52.
Rebirth. All right, let's talk about this next thing. Dawnstar Rising. This is a lost tale of the Legion Superheroes, a flashback story from the days when Dawnstar was in the Legion Academy. I kind of forget that Dawnstar wasn't just added to the team like a lot of them. She actually, I guess she didn't graduate. She got invited to join the team probably before her graduation from Legion Academy.
See, I don't even remember the exact like, did they say she came from the Academy when she first showed up? Or is this kind of a retcon?
I think it may be a retcon. I looked at her first appearance. It was drawn by Sherman and Abel did the drawing on it, but like it's a story.
Weird 'cause it's so Grell. Like he must have designed the character at least, right?
Yeah, and I think he did the cover of that issue. But it's like there's some kind of shit where the Legionnaires they're having trouble flying super fast and finding some missing person out in space, some villain.
If only we had a tracker.
Yeah, and Wildfire, he's like, listen, I got this girl. She's going to do this for us. And then I think she fucks up a bunch because she's green, but then she comes through in the end. Day is saved. And then they invite her to join the Legion of Superheroes. That's in her first appearance. And I don't know if Wildfire's like, I have this cadet at the Legion Academy who can do this, or if he's just, I know this girl or what. I don't know how that happens. I just skimmed it. I didn't read too close. But it turns out, according to this issue, Dawnstar Rising, Dawnstar was hanging out at Legion Academy with Shadow Kid, Laurel Kent, and this new guy, first appearance of Jed Ricane, Power Boy, his very first appearance.
Right. These are the flunkies, the dummies who keep having to repeat 12th grade all through the 80s. Like, they're just permanent students.
Yeah, they're in the academy for a long... it must just be because they get, like, free room and board or something. And, like, Jed's like, yeah, I need a lot of food.
What's his name again? Like Power Kid or something?
Power Boy.
I always think of him as Jed. Like,
right.
They rarely use the other name, it seems like.
No, it's funny that his name is just Jed.
It's kind of like Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies, only he's purple.
Yeah, you kind of do think that.
Get Max Baer to play him.
Hey, Uncle Wildfire. Wildfire is their coach at the Legion Academy here.
I was going to say Laurel looks scandalous on the very, very first page.
Oh, yeah.
Thing. They started covering it up with the red cape.
I know. I like this costume. I'm a fan of the Vampirella costume. Night Girl has the same costume at this point in time, I think. And she's had this costume for about 20 issues or something. Laurel Kent.
And by 20 issues, you mean that issue and this issue. She wasn't in the 18 in between.
Well, yeah, she's been in a couple of them, but not too many. This art's all by Jim Sherman with Bob McLeod. We're at a time period where it's kind of mature Jim Sherman artwork. There is a bunch of them where it's Sherman and Abel, and the good parts of Jim Sherman are just paved over by the Jack Abel inking.
Right. But now that he isn't doing it monthly or doing full stories in this case, like, he can finish it the way he wants, I guess. Though you would think he would ink it.
He must get to at least choose his inker or something, because it looks so much better and so different.
I mean, there's much tighter pencils.
That could be it too. And so the Academy kids are fighting this monster. It's a training session thing. It's a robot. It's not a monster. But Sherman has a knack for drawing creatures and like like shit like this guy with his eyeballs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cool. I mean, it's kind of cartoony and stupid looking, but I like it. I like his drawings, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like my girl wouldn't do this.
I wonder how heavily referenced his figures are.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of them, they're just standing there, huh?
Well, I don't know. And maybe he's a bit of a perfectionist too, but like on page 2, like where we have Power Boy, is his name?
Right, yeah.
Jed. Like every one of the figures there looks, to me, they all look photo referenced, but maybe he's just good like that. But they all...
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
But the other thing about that is, to me, is how much is that overkill, kind of, and is that why he's so slow? Like, do you really need, I don't know, such realistic poses on all your figures if they're that tiny?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is that what I like about his artwork? I mean, granted, you don't need really great, perfect anatomy on little tiny characters.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, I like looking at these drawings. They're so good.
Yeah.
He could get away with a lot less. You're right about that. I mean, assuming that's what you're trying to say.
I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. I feel like sometimes artists worry about things that, maybe he's not a good example, but I feel like some people worry about details no one else is going to notice, and it is actually to the detriment of the story sometimes.
He kind of gets a little more stripped down in a way. Like, he doesn't do like a lot of feather shading and stuff as the years go by.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're looking at what's that thing called, Ike Garuda, this thing from Epic Comics that came out probably in 1990 maybe. Like he'll draw these characters with like a hard black outline kind of, but they still have kind of the same sort of flow, and I know they read really well, but I guess it's just kind of more cartooned, even though it still is like the same sort of realistic level of drawing in a way. It's hard to explain, I guess, but he starts to strip it down a little bit.
Well, these are stripped down in that at least the first half of the story, there's basically no backgrounds for the first half of this book, basically.
Oh yeah, none at all.
It switches over on page 6, but up until then, there's like almost nothing.
And I guess they don't need it. They're in a big room fighting a monster.
The page 5. Oh, 3. I'm sorry. That's the panel I really, really like. That crazy Jed with his fists.
Oh yeah, Dawnstar like throws him through the robot.
It's so wonky, but it looks great. It's like Megaton Man-ish.
You know, I meant to bring the reprint of this because I bet it looks better than the old comic book version.
Yeah.
Like sharper black.
Yeah, like his art probably looks better clean.
Yeah. Let me go get it. I'll go get it.
Okay.
It's in Superboy and the Legion Volume 1.
Oh. I don't think I remembered that. Yeah, of course it would be.
Well, I was looking in the later ones at first, and I'm like, where the hell is this? But it's way back in the first book of those 4 more recent reprint books. And it looks like they stayed pretty true to the original colors, I guess.
But, you know, with some of the artists from this era, like the texture of the print and the paper helps their work, but I think he's one of the few that probably looks good on nice, clean.
Yeah, like he's really working the black line, you know? I mean, maybe if they had a little bit warmer color paper, it would be better, but it still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a little bit maybe lost. Anyway, the Legionnaires are the academy. What do you call them? Are they
cadets?
The cadets or the students. They beat off this robot, and then Wildfire shows up and is nothing but critical.
They beat off the robot? All right.
Yeah. Leaves a big mess on the floor.
Right.
Shadow Kid's like, you're being awful hard on us, Wildfire.
Right.
But he's like, Fatal 5 would kill you. That's his reasoning for being such a hard ass.
And then, like, by the way, you're looking pretty good. You want to go out to dinner with the teacher?
Yeah, what the hell is he doing? He asks out Dawnstar after the training mission. We also can't forget that Wildfire is not even a human being anymore. What do you do on a date with Wildfire? Like,
I still don't understand why can't he do the business? I mean, couldn't he just have genitalia on the suit? Oh. He's animated by the energy.
I think he doesn't have a brain, so he can't get aroused.
Oh.
Oh.
I guess he wouldn't feel Does he feel? I don't know. It seems like we see him scream.
Yeah, he's emotional sometimes. All the time. I don't know. It's weird.
Right. They probably just sort of forget. Like, 'cause I feel like there are times where he gets knocked around and he's like, ugh.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, aside from getting hurt or not, like, he gets mad. He's always being mad.
Well, yeah, of course.
So, yeah, you would think that he could also get, I don't know. I mean, I guess people who have like sexual difficulties, they still can feel frustration.
Yes, I hear they can.
Right. There's this friend of mine.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. For some reason, he wants to hook up with Dawnstar.
I guess I was thinking of him having more physicality than, like he's the Invisible Man or something like that. Like he has no visible form or substance except when he's in the suit. I figure he's like the suit is solid when he's inside of it somehow.
Right. Like if he just had you know what, he could last a long time.
He just needs to get Brainiac 5 to like attach.
Yeah, and he's got shorts on.
Right. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, just take those shorts off.
It's like he's wearing a condom. A full body condom. But no, let's try to have sex without the costume on and I'm going to electrocute the shit out of you. You remember that? Later.
Yeah, he had some kind of weird... He was able to make himself a body, but I guess he was still hot.
Right. She's all burned
But if he's just out of the suit, he's invisible, an energy blob, and his suit's all limp. Just a limp worm without him in the suit.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe it's kind of like Quizlet taught him how to do what he already does inside the suit, outside of the suit. He takes some kind of physicality inside that suit, I think.
Yeah, but back to your point about him like adding a wiener to his suit, like you could totally do that, huh? He has fingers, you know?
Right.
Even Dawnstar could appreciate his fingers, I think. But yeah, you give him a pee-pee wee-wee, squeeze on some warming lubricant.
Yep.
You're good to go, right? For a long ass time, because he's not like a regular man who needs a break every 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Hold on, time out.
Tired.
I can't feel my arm. I need you to drive you to the hospital.
But anyway, for some reason, he wants to hook up with her, and she is not into the idea. She's very cold and rebuffs his advances.
What's funny is because of the time, she's probably just being written as like a cold bitch, but really her reaction is an appropriate one, like to be appropriately, you're my fucking teacher. I'm not going out with you.
Yeah, she's a little more blunt than is... I'm not saying she's wrong, but she's more rude maybe than she needs to be, I guess. I don't know.
Well, right. But I feel like if a college professor said that to a student today, she would be well within her rights to react that way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see any reason why we would hang out outside of
We have nothing
class
to say to each other.
Right.
The way it's written here, she seems like she's
implying?
had a... It seems like she has a like
stick up her ass.
Something bad and that has happened in the past. Like we have nothing to say to each other after what you pulled or what happened between us in the past. That's kind of the implication here, but there is nothing in the past. She's just telling him off.
Yeah, and then it's weird. Like all the other students are like, "Come on, why didn't you go out with him? You should have gone out for dinner with the teacher. You do want to get an A, don't you?"
Where did I read it? She's 16 at this point.
Oh, I didn't realize she was that young.
In her first appearance, when Wildfire adds her to the team, or when he invites her on the mission at the beginning, he says she's 16.
Weird.
And she tells her origin here to her roommate Laurel Kent, and is talking about how she's been making a living as a Native American tracker since she was 13.
It's funny that Laurel is stripped down to like her sleeping, her underwear or whatever. But in her case, she's more well-dressed than she is on the battlefield. Yeah, they're like space Native Americans, except for the guy driving. It just looks like a comic book nerd. It's like Roy Thomas or something.
Yeah, her mother's name is Moonwalker, named after that famous Michael Jackson movie. Yeah,
Smooth Criminal. Yeah, as corny as it is, I feel like maybe if it had been done more respectfully and possibly by a Native American writer, like the idea could be valid. Of like tribes in space. It is a little weird saying that this tribe colonized a planet. When you think of colonizers, you don't usually think of the natives unless they're on the receiving end of the colonizing.
Yeah, for some reason they decided to leave their plush digs on Earth.
Right.
And go colonize some other planet.
Right. Just be more like they got kicked off Earth.
I also wonder if, as I was reading this, like, are we supposed to be surprised by her reaction to Wildfire? Were they already like a romantic item back in that first story or in the subsequent ones?
Maybe the subsequent ones. I don't know. How many times has she appeared so far? It's been around for a couple years.
Like 226 or something was her first.
Because I think that's why he asked her out. Like maybe it's sort of, again, like a sort of retcon, like they've developed a relationship in the appearances subsequent to her first, and then so they're planting the seed in this flashback, but that actually makes things awkward. That he's asking, like I said, maybe I'm just the one hung up on it. He's the teacher. He's asking the 16-year-old girl out.
Yeah, it actually kind of makes it more messed up. Like if he has designs on Dawnstar and she's not going to have a relationship with him because she's a student and he's the teacher.
Right.
So he's like, well, what if I
get you on the team?
Yeah, put you on the team. We're equals. And then will you go out with me?
Right.
And then she does. Like then they have a romance for the next 40 years or something until she breaks up with him because it's such a messed up relationship. All they do is argue.
I don't really remember them ever really being an item like together, like going steady. I just remember years and years of him chasing after her. Then maybe she responds a little bit, but then he does something stupid or she runs off. Like I never remember it like working out. Like we're boyfriend girlfriend now.
I guess I always thought they were kind of a committed pairing, but they had their troubles because he was not human and she's a cold fish or whatever.
A cold fish, yeah.
Or a queen bee, like she is in this comic.
Is that what a queen bee is?
I guess I thought B stands for BITCH.
Oh, probably. You're probably right.
She's not acting too friendly. She's real mean to her roommate Laura Kent here too.
Right.
She's 13, but she has the body of an adult here.
Oh boy, we're gonna get flagged. We're gonna get
these
flagged.
Are messed up comics, huh?
Yeah.
She takes off all her clothes.
Yeah.
There's some titillating stuff where Jim Sherman draws Dawnstar undressing.
The male artist gaze.
He knows what he's here for.
I guess she's sleeping in the buff.
Well, it's not like you can put like pajamas over those wings.
You don't think there's some special kind?
I just don't know how wings work.
Actually, there's a lot of we skipped over the part in her origin where they say she developed mutant powers because she's so inbred. Because
of what?
She's so inbred.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
Of inbreeding.
Yeah. Well, she delivers it like that's sort of a dirty secret, but I don't know. You say I'm a mutant and nobody cares if you're a superhero, but yeah, she says a lot of inbreeding made me a mutant.
Right.
She still looks fine physically. She just has superpowers
from all the inbreeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a little possibly racist. No. Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, it just means that they had a small population to begin with, but I think real inbreeding or
it doesn't give you mutant powers.
You would be a little more messed up.
I mean, I don't think inbreeding messes people up as badly as people think it does.
Oh, but, really?
Yeah, that's sort of exaggerated. Not that I am condoning inbreeding, but if you don't have any recessive, like biological diseases or whatever, it's not. Siblings can produce viable offspring that aren't messed up. The problem is you don't have the genetic variety to sort of compensate for genetic abnormalities, I guess. So they're more prone to they're more prone to bad things happening, but it isn't like that's still the exception. More often than not, they're fine, but no mutant powers.
So you're advocating for inbreeding?
I'm advocating for it. I'm just saying, like, maybe it makes sense in the story, and maybe Paul Levitz or Kupperberg aren't thinking about it when they're writing it, but like they don't mean anything by it. But I feel like inbred is like something often cast onto minorities that are like they're savages. These savages, they're inbred.
Right. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think when I was reading this, I just assumed that when they said inbreeding, they didn't mean my mom and dad or brother and sister.
Right.
They were talking about like a small population of whatever, 100 families. Right. And over the years, those 100 families only have that one pool of 99 other families to work with when they start to marry off, for example. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's also written by white guys. Right. So could go either way.
Yeah. Like that's kind of the problem of when you only have like white dudes who are more or less from the same socioeconomic, they're all very homogenous, but they're writing for all these other kinds of characters. They have all these blind spots.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was necessarily ill intent. It wasn't badly intended.
No, part of her origin, when she's wearing this rad costume with the leggings and the tube top thing, she gets the call from R.J. Brand, and he wanted to see me personally, she said. Mm-hmm. It almost sounds like now Brand is going to hit on her. But instead he offers to, this is new to me, he's going to pay her to be a Legionnaire. And he makes it sound like it's a lot when you're a Legionnaire. I guess I was always under the impression that like maybe they get a stipend or something, but it's not like the Legionnaires are making millions. But he's like, she doesn't want to become a Legionnaire because she's making money at her job. And he's like, you'll make money as a Legionnaire.
Yeah, but I get the feeling like he's like going to give her more than
he's going to give her a bonus or something to join the Legion. She's going to get paid more than
the whole thing is strange, because why wouldn't he just say, well, I can take care of that. I will take care of that. You join the team. If you join the team, I'll make sure your people are taken care of. Instead of like, well, if you work real hard, I'll give you enough money to help your people. Even though I'm a great philanthropist myself.
He knows how to treat poor people. Just load them up with responsibility and make sure they never feel like they can get out from under their crushing debt and their responsibilities. And that's how you can control these poor people and get them to join your stupid superhero club.
It's like it mirrors the first issue of 5 years later when Reap has taken his role and he's come to recruit Rock Kryn, and Rock is like, but what about my wife and kids stuck on this planet? And he's like, well, I'm going to give you a good salary, and if you work real hard for me and save up, maybe you can get them off this war-torn planet.
Right. Like, what better way to get them off the planet than by getting a good job?
Right.
You're kidding, though, because that's not what happened in that comic book.
He said, I'll take care of it for you.
Right.
Like they're going to be taken care of.
Chameleon Boy is not the awful plutocrat that his father was.
Right.
But Dawnstar takes him up on his offer. And I guess that means she has to go through Legion Academy before she can get the dough. I bet he's not paying her to go to Legion Academy. She has to pay her way through that.
Oh, yeah. It's like a pyramid scheme or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you graduate, you can join the real
Legion. You can be a
Legionnaire.
Yeah. And Jed's like, this is bullshit.
If you graduate. Jed's like, I've been in the academy for 20
years. 1978.
But Dawnstar thinks that all the other kids in the academy are not really serious. They're playing at being superheroes. And Dawnstar is a serious practitioner of superpowers. And she has people who are depending on her. And these other guys, it's just a ball game to them. That's why she's such a jerk, that's her reasoning, I guess.
She's also kind of a mercenary, the way they frame her in this, right? She's doing it all for the money, for the bounty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she thinks the other heroes are just trying to show off. She's not trying to show off. She takes pride in her superheroics, but also, she's just trying to make a lot of money.
Look at the Thor-El Kent next to Jed on the upper left. She's really tiny.
Uh-huh.
You see, she's like really cartoony. It's funny.
Yeah, that's a good drawing. Wonder how that
yeah, it is good, but it's funny how he switched to that for that one panel. It's almost like an Easter egg or something.
Come on, focus. I mean, I don't know that I agree that it's as cartoony as you think it is. It's really good, like I don't know, like a reduced detail version.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't really look like she's having a blast.
Yeah,
and he's really gotten that across in this drawing the size of your pinky fingernail or whatever. Dude's a master. He's so good.
What are your thoughts on Shadow Lad's thought balloons coming out of Wildfire's visor?
I thought that was weird as hell. I think that's even happened before. Sherman loves to draw reflections in Wildfire's visor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was kind of confused. I mean, I wasn't confused, but it was weird to see somebody else's thoughts coming out of Wildfire's head.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, maybe it's fine for the thought balloons to come out of, like, a mirror. But since this is a character who thinks himself, it makes it more ambiguous.
Yeah, it's odd.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's Wildfire is thinking it. Or maybe they don't want you to know which one is thinking it.
Yeah, I mean, the balloon tails are pretty clearly coming out of Shadow Kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thoughts themselves really could be anybody who has been mistreated by Dawnstar.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it would make more sense if Wildfire is saying it, because he's saying something like, if she wants to be that way, she's not going to have any problems being alone for the rest of her life.
Right.
And so as the guy who's like her future boyfriend saying that, it sort of has an extra weight if he was actually saying it.
And the nuts tour is kind of that sort of Ben Grimmie kind of dialogue that they give Wildfire all the time.
Yeah, that's interesting. So maybe Jim Sherman took some license and had Shadow Kid.
Well, does he draw the balloons? That. Maybe it was a mistake on the letterer's part.
Well, yeah, that could be it too. Like the letterer didn't even realize that there was a guy's face filling up that whole panel.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe in black and white it's not as evident.
It's another mystery.
We'll have to ask him when we have him on the show.
Yeah. Okay.
Jim Sherman, he's like, who's Wildfire? Oh, that guy I did that gig 40 years ago when I was a kid.
The next few panels on this page, they're in Penn Station, Pennsylvania. Now it's a bustling, huge spaceport. And it has reflective floors. And the way it's colored here, it looks like everything's kind of flooded with green water or something almost. But he drew it to have these really glossy, reflective floors. There's
it's kind of confusing.
Paste up dot screen stuff in part of it.
Does it look better in the reprint?
I put my book away too soon, didn't I?
That's okay. It's okay. I'll look.
No, I want to look. It looks better on the original art. I saw that online. Like just in black and white, it kind of makes more sense than in the the reflective floor is colored like this mud green color.
Right.
And that's part of the problem.
Yeah, it still doesn't really work very well. I'm surprised they weren't tempted to put some white gleams or at least lighten it up a little bit so it doesn't match the wall so closely.
Yeah, I think the main issue is the color. Like it's an interesting idea, but the color confuses matters.
I mean, is there a mistake there? Because what about the box in the corner? I mean, should the color be coming up it like that? I don't quite get it.
Box in the corner.
The man is with the suitcase is standing right next to it. Some kind of booth.
Oh, it's just to the right of that man. It has kind of the arched doorway or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the perspective's not quite right there. That's why it's confusing.
Because it looks like he's making all of the floor green, right?
Yeah.
So this booth or whatever it is, the bottom half of it is the same color as the floor. Is that what's happening?
No, the bottom half of that's the reflection of it. It's just farther in the background than if it was correctly drawn, it would look right. But the perspective is screwy, is what I think happened.
Okay.
Like you see how the doorway of that thing is sort of farther into the background than the three figures who are just to the right of it. Like, so if you look at it that way, it kind of makes sense. But then when you look at the guy with the briefcase over to the left, his vignette doesn't hook up the perspective grid with that other stuff.
Yeah, because that booth thing extends below his feet.
Yeah. Well, that's the reflection of it.
Wait, isn't that his reflection underneath?
That's his reflection underneath him.
There's like a silhouette of his reflection on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy. And when I'm talking about that man's silhouette, I'm talking about this thing on the very bottom.
Yeah, he has like a reflection that comes out of his feet beneath him, right?
Right, but why is the solid color that's on the floor extending to the bottom of the booth here? Right there. Oh, now I see it. So the blue here, that's the bottom.
Yeah, the blue.
It's like an arch. It's an arch. Right. See, when I'm looking at that, I thought it was some kind of like a phone booth with a circular window on it. Right. Like I thought this was one tall box. And I was wondering why. Okay. I'm sorry. Duh. I had to see it backwards.
But see, the problem that I'm having with it is yes.
Now it makes sense to me. Now it makes sense.
Like right here this is the bottom of the doorway, right?
Right.
But like this diagonal line here at the bottom of this thing with the windows, it perspective wise, it doesn't match up with the perspective line at the bottom of that doorway.
Right. And then the three figures that are further back should be way smaller, right? They're like too big.
Or something, yeah.
To fit into that booth.
Yeah, like
into that arch.
Like there's this angle for the bottom of the arch doorway. Mm-hmm. And then there's this angle for the bottom of the ticket window thing.
Right. Maybe the arch is for Emeskians.
Yeah, I don't know. His vanishing point is over here. Mm-hmm. But these things seem like they're almost supposed to be, I don't know. I can't. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
I think the perspective is a little fudged, and then having this really clear distinction between the reflective floor and the non-reflective actual stuff.
The more I look at it, it's starting to look like an M.C. Escher drawing or something. It's not making sense because the hallway that the three are walking from, that plane, it doesn't make sense the way the arch is next to it. Like the arch should be like in front of it, right? I don't know. It's like that line in between the arch and the three figures is existing on two planes.
Yeah, here, let me draw it.
It's both parallel with the hallway they're walking through, and it's parallel with the front of the arch.
I'm going to give Jim Sherman a little drawing lesson here.
All right, Jim.
Let's
get out the tracing paper.
The room is kind of like this, right? And then imagine there's a corner right about there. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then, there's this doorway that those three guys are kind of walking out of here. And there's a fucking stairway back there going up this way that you can barely make out.
Right.
And here's this ticket window way up here in the foreground.
Right.
And there's a hallway that's coming up this way, right?
Yep.
And then we've got the arched doorway it seems like it ought to be right about here. Uh-huh. Right? At this.
Yeah.
And then here's the ceiling this way.
Right.
But the way he's drawn the archway room, it's set back farther. So if we're looking straight down at it. Uh-huh. Like let's say we're looking straight down. Here's the ticket window booth. Here's the window. And then the archway space is here. Doesn't stick out as far.
Right.
And then the doorway is there and the stairway is back here at an angle. Like we're looking straight down. Here's the man with the briefcase. Here's the three figures walking out. Mm-hmm. But just by doing this thing, by offsetting the archway room, screws up the whole flow. So like when you're expecting this thing to be all on the same plane facing us, these two rooms, and then the hallway floor, because Dawnstar is flying out of this hallway up here.
Right.
She's flying through here.
Yes.
I don't know. And then we have the confusing reflection stuff happening. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, that choice. And I think maybe the actual, like if you were to map out the perspective lines, the perspective of where this room is, the archway room, compared to where the ticket booth room is, it doesn't hook up to the vanishing point the correct way. Because I think he had to fudge this ticket booth window to, I don't know, to get to make the composition look correct. Like there's some balance of 3 extra people on way over on the left side of the panel, you know? That's my take on it as a professional artist.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
I'm going to leave all of that in the final video.
Oh, shit.
But I feel like I saw the original artwork online of this, and in black and white, it looked kind of cool. Like they used some dot screens to do some of this reflective stuff, and it looks a little bit better. The green floor kind of goofs it up, and screws with your perception of this page.
Well, when we get him on, we'll have him lay some tracing paper down. We can talk him through this and see.
Yeah.
Maybe he can explain to us how we're supposed to view it.
We can talk down to him a little bit.
Yeah, we can have him draw the aerial view for us and show us how it works.
Like, Jim, I know you're just a comic book guy. Could you try to explain this to us? Dan and I are professional commercial artists.
Right.
Jim Sherman is so good, so pro.
He's great. He is a pro. Major League pro.
Oh, yeah, Major League Baseball. Is that what he designed, that Major League Baseball logo? Or was it just like
so.
the was some team, wasn't it? Or was it the MLB thing? That's probably what it is, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like a silhouette of a guy tucking a bat over his shoulder, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, we had that whole boring conversation, and we almost glossed over these ridiculously awesome monsters that Dawnstar is going to go round up. I guess they've escaped from their pens at the spaceport.
Right.
And the other Legion Academy people, they're going to team up with each other because they're now pissed at Dawnstar. And then Dawnstar, now she's the one who has a big head about her powers. She's bitched at Laurel Kent about how all these heroes are just in it for their egos or something. But then Dawnstar's like, these guys can't catch these 2 monsters. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's a strange character turn. Like at first, it seems like everyone thinks she's a bitch, but really she has trauma or she's shy or whatever. And that's the way she is. And she's not. She's here to support her family, not to be a show off. But then all of a sudden, she's a show off.
Right.
And she is a bitch.
Well, also, like right before that, I almost forgot about this. Wildfire sends these guys out on a mission, and Dawnstar thinks that she's going to get to pair up with Laurel Kent as her team. Like they're splitting up into multiple teams. Laurel Kent goes off with Jed, and Dawnstar's like, Laurel, wait for me. Right. And then Dawnstar is annoyed, or she decides she's just going to go on her own and do it.
It still reads to me potentially like, I'm not going off with that dude. He's going to try to like grab my ass or something.
Wait, which dude?
Shadow dude.
Oh, she's worried about teaming up with Shadow Kid?
Well, she's like, I'd rather be alone. Subtextually, it reads to me like there's all these creepy dudes hitting on her all the time just because she's half naked. So
yeah, there is that. I guess I thought though that she thought that she was still going to be able to be friends and be teammates with Laurel Kent, even though she told off Laurel Kent last night and was like, "Oh, leave me alone. I'm going to bed."
You think that's why she ran off without him?
Well, I think that's why Laurel Kent ran off with Jed, is because she's pissed at Dawnstar. Dawnstar didn't realize just how pissed Laurel Kent would be at her. She thought they were still going to work together, but now she knows that you can't treat people like that.
Maybe. I think it's more like Laurel is a functional team person who gets along with all these guys. So when Jed says, come on, let's go, Laurel, she's like, yeah, let's go do it. But she's Dawnstar's only friend, the only one she can talk to there. So she's left out in a way. But Laurel is willing to participate with all the kids in the class.
I guess I read it as Laurel is done with Dawnstar because she's such a jerk. She's going to very happily go hang out with Jed.
Okay.
But who knows? It's all up for interpretation because it's not too clear. It's not set in stone here.
Yeah.
Classic Paul Levitz style, unintended ambiguity.
Why does Mon-El and Superboy and Ultra Boy and Brainiac 5 and how come none of them know she's a robot? What's the deal with that?
I don't know. I don't know. Dude.
Maybe we'll have to look at that issue.
You think he'll tell us?
No.
You know Superboy was using his X-ray vision on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be a good excuse for him not using it, except we know for a fact that he had the hots for her.
All right.
In that weird first appearance where they try to explain like, oh, that's why I had the hots for her. She's my ancestor or my descendant.
Yeah, you're attracted to people who you think are going to contribute to your gene pool. So you want people who are like other members of your family.
I don't know. My brother is contributing to my gene pool, I guess. I don't find him that good looking. He's continuing on the same lineage. That would be to my advantage, right?
Yeah, that's why you're attracted to your brother.
My brother. Okay. All right.
I'm done with this conversation.
Jeez,
the conversation of page 9.
It's just a blue story between this and the inbreeding and
this page 10. It's like a poster. You can tell Jim Sherman loved drawing this page.
That would be an awesome blacklight poster if you'd recolored it, all those crazy magentas and stuff.
I was kind of wondering if he did color this himself. Yeah, just the gums, 100% magenta gums on this gorilla character,
mm-hmm.
and the I guess it must be a dot screen for the shadow on Dawnstar. I don't know. It looks really good. This would look good blowed up on my ceiling.
I wish I had an easy way on my tablet to flood all the white with black and see what it looked like.
Oh, you'd have to change all the yellows to like 100%.
Yeah.
But wait, did they introduce us to these monsters already? No, there's better drawings of the monsters a little later, right?
Oh, King Kong and I don't know what this guy is.
Yeah.
Testicle head.
Well, they name them. They tell us the stupid names of them. An Arcturian ape and a Granian death beast.
Mm-hmm.
The Granian death beast has some kind of eyeball powers, but he also kind of looks just like Gertie the dinosaur with testicle eyeballs.
Right. It's got kind of a dragon head, and then the ape has got strange, hairless, like human. It looks like human arms from the elbow down. I mean, I know that apes, of course, I know gorillas have, or some of them have like more hand-like feet, but not. I don't think it's like this.
I don't know either.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. It looks like you took some human hands, you like cut them off just below the elbow and attached them to his shins. Pretty wacky. We got the evolutionary shaft that when we lost those opposable toes. I bet that would have been useful to jack off with your feet.
You could fire 4 guns at the same time.
Yep.
And sit on your ass and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So the ape is about to trample Dawnstar, but then Shadow Kid shows up. I guess all 3 of the other Academy cadets show up, save the day. Jed calls Shadow Kid Shad for short.
He shad himself.
And then Powerboy punches out the Death Beast.
Yeah, and so he's got a very funny expression. He's getting knocked out there, like cross-eyed and sticking his tongue out. The gorilla fella.
Oh, the ape. Oh, yeah. You can't really see it in the comic.
Need stars, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. In the reprint, they colored his eyes. They didn't color his eyes brown. In the comic, his eyes are brown, so you can't tell that he's cross-eyed.
Oh.
He looks much goofier in the reprint than in the original comic book. On the other hand, the color's a little bit better, like they kind of modeled his lips a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you can see his stupid eyeballs is kind of funny.
I wonder if that was like deliberate, like they thought, this looks too silly. We can tone it down by just putting the solid color in there.
This comic book is too silly.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? There we go.
Testicle-headed monster.
So once the Academy cadets knock out the beasts,
I'm trying to figure out the trainer.
That's what I'm saying. The trainer is the giant.
Must be,
I guess, because she comes and she's like putting a big necklace, a shock collar around the ape's neck, and she is whatever, not much smaller than the ape, but he's towering over these Legion people. I don't get it. I don't know what planet the trainer is from.
That would suck to have like your balls as your head, especially if you're getting in fights with superheroes and stuff, and you have to worry about getting punched in the balls. The ball head.
What about shaving? Yeah, definitely glad I don't have balls for a head.
Right. What are they? They're restraining him by his nose or something? Like there's either a red laser or a red cord.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what
hooked to his nuts there.
It's like they're zapping him with something.
It's probably like a car battery.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden behind the word balloon. You can't tell what that thing is. But now Wildfire's congratulating them on their great teamwork. The other 3 Academy cadets kept in touch with the radio. They did not loop in Dawnstar in this. So she ran headlong solo into this melee, might have gotten killed because these other Legionnaires didn't tell her that, you can keep in touch with the radio. She says, I'm guilty of vanity. I thought myself too good for the Legion Academy, too powerful to ever need help from anybody. But now she's friends with them. I don't know what happened. She's back to being friends with them. She doesn't quite get that she was such a jerk. They probably won't be friends with her, but she thinks she's friends with them. I guess she was contemplating leaving the Academy, but now she's going to stay.
Yeah.
It's kind of what this last couple of lines of dialogue implies. I don't know that anything else ever made us think that.
We still got a couple more Jim Shermans, maybe, right? This isn't the end of him, is it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a lot because, like, in this hardcover, this story is like the last story in the book. And I don't know that, like, Sherman's name isn't on the cover of the volume 2. He's on the masthead or over the title on the first book.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the like him pounding on the table. That was at Earth War. That's after, right? I think that's in 2.
Yeah, Earth War is like in 240, 3, 4, 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I think maybe we got a lot of good stuff to do yet.
Yeah, that's the next issue, isn't it? It's 241. Yeah, he's still around for a little bit after this.
Can't forget.
That oft-copied panel.
They should have gotten him to do the Treasury. Or a Treasury. At least.
Well, have you seen that letters page? They're like, Jim Sherman's hard at work on the Legion Spectacular. I don't think that ever happened, whatever it was.
Well, I think that probably morphed into those issues.
Just some giants, yeah.
That multi-part Earth War business.
I was going to say the theme of this issue is reconciliation because there's the plot of Phantom Girl admitting how wrong she was and restoring her friendship with Colossal Boy, and then Dawnstar admitting how wrong she was for not wanting guys to hit on her, and then restoring the friendship with her comrades, even though they don't really reciprocate.
It does sort of seem like the theme is girls are bitches and they just need to apologize to all the men around them.
They just need to take their Midol.
Ooh, boy.